Hello, Father.
Hello, my son.
This is my dad, David Medford.
Hello.
Can you see the resemblance? He's like the much whiter Scandinavian version of me. I thought it would be interesting if we were to, take a look at your results. You also took a test.
I did.
Right after me. And why did you have to do that?
Why did I have to?
Yeah.
My son thought that it would be a great idea so we could kind of see how the DNA looks and, if the Scandinavian, kind of runs in my line or how it divides out.
Yeah.
It sounds interesting. So,
Yeah.
let's find out.
Yeah. And then also find out if you truly are my father or not, right?
Yes. And so I got a phone call that said, guess what? You are the father. So I had to say, thank you, Maury.
Yeah. Ancestry, they had not yet sent you the email.
No.
And yet your results had already popped up in my feed saying that you are my dad.
Yeah.
So, but the very next day, you ended up getting an email.
That day or two.
Yeah.
And, it worked out so much better because we didn't have to go on TV and yell and scream at each other.
That's true. Which very well could happen.
Yeah.
All right. So are you kind of nervous to see the results?
No, I'm excited.
Okay.
After watching the video that you made and how the Scandinavian was so, prominent.
Yeah.
And how shocked you were. I can't wait to see what it says.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, and I had a lot of really good comments from people in the last video about, and someone posted a really good article about why they think we had so much Scandinavian.
Okay.
And one of the things that they said was that, and the other shocking thing, I was expecting to have like at least 20-some% German ancestry, at least, like maybe 28% or so. I can't remember the exact figure.
Yeah.
It literally showed like 2%. And which makes no sense because, the Setzers, your mom,
Right.
I mean, they're German.
Right.
All of these different, the Hollers, my mom was a Holler. They're German. I mean, there's so many German lines in our family. That makes zero sense to me. Well, it turns out Germany really doesn't have a very distinctive German DNA ethnicity. German is mostly a cultural thing. So people that lived in West Germany are genetically the same as French. And people that lived in East Germany are genetically the same as East Europe. And people that lived in North Germany are genetically the same as Scandinavian. And if different testing groups, 23andMe and MyHeritage and all these other DNA companies, they kind of group them. They have the same data, but they kind of group the data differently. And so some of them might have like German specific, but I guess Ancestry.com is like, their take is if we were to say that West Germans are the real Germans, well, then all the French people would be Germans. And so there's just no real way for them to kind of group the German people.
Okay, so going back to, say, World War II, Hitler was from Austria, but he claimed Germany. So if you got into that DNA, he wouldn't have been German. His DNA would show other nationalities.
Absolutely. It could be East European. Down in Austria, you have the Italian influence as well. So there's no telling.
So you really can't claim German DNA because it's so spread out.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
and most of Europe, they say really most of Europe, the differences between all of them is just so little. Mostly the differences are cultural.
Okay.
So it's really interesting. But I think our strong British heritage, and like I said before in the other video, we have the Viking Y DNA. We know that,
Right.
and a lot of British people have, and I've watched so many British people taking ancestry DNA tests just
Right.
to see how much Scandinavian do they have in them, and I've seen very few that had 44%. That they would have a high amount, like 18%, but like 44% is quite an anomaly. And I feel like it's because we have this combination of Britain and this combination of, I guess, northern Germany
Right. Right.
ancestors, and so those combined causes us to have this. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe,
I don't know
yeah.
what you have, but
And when I would talk with my paternal grandma, she would talk a lot about being Irish.
yeah.
So and hopefully we'll find out. Would Great Britain and Irish ancestry, would that be tied together?
So the way they group Irish is Irish, Scottish, and Wales is kind of grouped together in a grouping. So I guess they have kind of a similar set between those three,
Well.
and so they've kind of separated out Irish and British together. So we have what's stated here about 12% Irish, Scottish,
Okay.
Wales. So
We'll see.
yeah. I mean, I think it makes sense. I'll tell you another surprising thing. I really didn't focus on this that much in the video, but Iberian Peninsula was 9%. Iberian, and that is Portugal, Spain, southern France, and maybe like northern Morocco and Tunisia, or Algeria. And I mean, 9% is such a lot. Like if you were to break down, everybody has 8 great grandparents,
Okay.
So if you were, that's almost like one of our great grandparents being from Spain.
Really?
One of my great grandparents being from Spain.
Okay. Now you're more versed in this than I am, and you're saying 9% is a high number.
I think so. I mean, that just seems crazy high to me. 9% from, especially when you know your genealogy and there's just no one from Portugal or Spain or anything exotic like that in our genealogy.
Okay.
It just seems odd to me.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, because that's something that I'm not really familiar with.
Well, that'll be to me that'll be really interesting to see if you have that same high amount of Iberian Peninsula as well. All right, so are you ready to view your results?
I'm ready.
All right, let's pull this up.
Well, here we go.
Okay.
Receiving.
All right, I'm gonna pull up like my results next to your results. Holy cow. Okay.
This is unbelievable.
All right,
Where's
so
the Scandinavian?
your Scandinavian is the 4th most. So I had 44% Scandinavian, and you have 15% Scandinavian. That is so funny. Which when I was looking at my mom's genealogy, like she had a lot more German on her side than our side. So I don't know. I was kind of thinking maybe the Scandinavian was like really going to be like a huge Medford thing, and maybe that's why. But maybe that comes from my mom's side even more. I still think 15% Scandinavian is pretty high. But I have 44. That's nuts. Okay, so you are 38% Great Britain. and I'm 22%. So, and that makes a lot of sense, I feel like.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, now this is just okay. All right, now this throws everything out of whack. This makes no sense. So, your second most in ethnicity is Europe West, which is a combination of France and German. Belgium, France, Germany, Netherlands, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Liechtenstein. One of those. And I was just 2% on that. And it says we're related.
I like German beer.
That's what our show's missing is beer.
German beer.
German beer, yes.
See?
Da.
Ah.
Sorry. That's Russian. Ja. Ich habe eine Bier, bitte.
For sure.
Okay. Irish. I was 12% Irish, and you are 15% Irish, Scottish, Wales.
Okay, see, so my grandma, God rest her soul,
Yeah.
she was right.
She was, yeah, I'm sure she was. All right. Notice you don't have the 9% Iberian Peninsula like I did.
No.
So I'm guessing might be a mom side kind of thing.
Well, we would certainly hope so.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look at your low confidence regions. And wow, and let me pull up my low confidence regions. Okay. So
This is just really...
2% Caucasus.
Yeah.
Does our video producer say that we're saying Caucasus right? Is that right? Yes. All right. So that's like the Middle East, like Iraqi, Iranian kind of, Persian kind of stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
2%. 2% Finland, Northwest Russia. So Scandinavia, they consider to be Norway and Sweden, but Finland, they group with Russian. So that's interesting. I didn't have that in mind at all. 2%. And then you do have 2% Iberian Peninsula. 2% Europe East, which I had less than 1%. You have 2% European Jewish, and I only had 1% European Jewish.
Yeah, well, I see.
Yeah. Europe South, less than 1%, and then Africa North, less than 1%, and I had Africa North, 1%.
This DNA story for you and I, how does this make us different? How does this make us the same?
Well,
Just, right off your head.
I feel like, I mean, obviously we both have the Scandinavian stuff going on. Both have quite a bit of Great British going on, and the Irish.
Right.
So that's those are the similarities for sure. The big differences is the Europe West, the Iberian Peninsula, and I guess what's interesting is just how we're just one generation apart, and
Yeah.
we have this many differences. But it recognized us as father and son in here,
Right.
which is funny.
Yeah.
Like, how can it recognize us as father and son, but it makes us it breaks down the ethnicity so differently.
Yeah. We're so spread apart,
Yeah.
DNA wise,
Yeah.
but we're so close, and hopefully the people that are watching this can look at us and go, well, yeah, that's that's father and son.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's no denying the Medford genes. Okay. So one thing that I'm really curious about is I've heard where people just testing their parents brought in more cousins than they matched up with because it reached out even further.
Okay.
So one of the coolest thing, I'll switch over to mine, and one of the coolest things about the DNA thing, I thought, were these DNA circles. And so it automatically takes people out of your family tree,
right,
and matches them with other people that also have that name in their family tree, and your DNA has matched. And so they've made a DNA circle from that. So Austin Holland Cragg, there's 26 members of this DNA circle. And yesterday I had 36 DNA circles, and today I have 37 DNA circles. So that's kind of cool. So I'm gonna have to find out what's the new one here. But I'm curious. I have 37 DNA circles, and obviously I'm your son, and so I have my mom's side, so I match up with. Mm-hmm. I have almost twice the family tree that you have, which is kind of crazy. My daughter has twice the family tree that I have, which is insane to think about. So I'm kind of curious, like, I assume you're going to have less circles, but maybe because you're closer to some of these people, one generation closer, maybe you'll have more of the same. You have no DNA circles because you don't have a family tree.
I'm just a sprig.
I guess you have to have a family tree in order to have the DNA circles. I tell you what, though, I bet you we can add you to my tree, and then we could probably tie you in somehow. So maybe we'll work on that. We'll circle back to it.
Okay.
But how about we take a look at DNA matches?
Okay.
All right. We'll view all the DNA matches.
Hey, look, I have a child.
You sure do. Jonathan Medford, confidence extremely high.
That sounds like war games.
Yeah.
You know? Yes. Confidence is high.
All right. Is your first cousin, Thad Baumgartner, on here? Close family.
I must be related to Madison Baumgartner.
Mad Baum. You must be. Second cousins. Wow. Yeah. Quite a few second cousins.
Yes.
Third cousins.
This is...
I'm seeing a lot of the same names that I saw on mine.
Right.
Which makes a lot of sense.
Well, yeah. Being that you know, you showed up first. That's really...
Let's see if there's more. There's more.
Wow, look at all.
Holy cow. I definitely feel like you're matching up with more people than I did. I don't know. I could be wrong, but...
No, we're looking at fourth cousins.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really neat. Yeah.
What's cool about it is if somebody has a tree, it will tell you where you meet up. But we got to get you on my tree. I just want to catch everybody up to speed. So my dad didn't have any DNA circles, and for his DNA matches, we weren't able to match up the ancestors because you don't technically have a tree in Ancestry.com.
Correct.
But I do. And so we found out there's a way to connect him to the tree. So first I had to add him to my tree, and I invited him. He's now a user on my tree. Now that he's on there, there's a way for him to come in here and link himself up. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. When you click on your DNA results summary, you can go to settings, scroll down to link to tree, and on the pull down here, this is the Medford family tree that I shared with him. Please tell us who you are in the family tree. So I'm going to type in David. Wayne Medford. There we go. Link DNA results. Success. You have connected this DNA test to your family tree. All right. So now, I wonder how much time it's going to require to match up the DNA stuff, or if it's going to do it instantaneously. I just hit a refresh. Currently, you aren't in any DNA circles. So it wouldn't surprise me if maybe it'll take a day or so to refresh their servers and find out. So that kind of stinks because I really wanted to record this part today. So based on your DNA, they're predicting that the migration, that you're going to be from this area somewhere. And where this red overlaps with this yellow in the orange area right here.
Yeah.
Just happens to be where you're from.
Well.
That's crazy that they're able to pinpoint.
That's kind of...
Isn't that wild?
That's kind of freaky.
Yeah, I guess the reason is because there's so many people from this area that have been tested, and because the DNAs are so similar, they're able to just be like, oh, pinpoint from this area right here.
This has been really, really a jaw dropper.
Yeah, it's very cool. Well, Dad, I appreciate you coming on my YouTube channel, and I appreciate you.
Thank you for
donating your spit for this this worthy cause.
Thank you for the invite, and this has been a real learning experience, and it has if it's taught me anything, it's that there's no strangers. We're all one human race. I'm a philosopher.
You are. Well said. Well, thank you for watching this episode of Roots and Relics.